Let's take our feet out pretty wide, maybe a T with the arms, just a really loose version of that. Let's take a couple of deep breaths. Really full breath in, and as we exhale, let's start letting the knees fall over to one side. And just a very slow, lazy windshield wiper to gently bring rotation into hips and low back, and maybe the head and neck go the opposite direction of the knees. Maybe we get a full breath in as we're passing through the middle, and exhale as we fall to the other side. Yeah, just really taking our time more. Then we can find our way to the middle. Let's walk our feet back into hip width. Let's bring one knee out to its shoulder, give it a really strong squeeze, slide the other heel away. And let's get some deep belly breaths here. And let's see if we can feel a little bit of squeeze in the glute of that long leg, just to help hug the thigh bone a little flatter into the floor. After one more enormous breath in, let's exhale and drag that heel in, and then let's just have both kneecaps at straight arms distance and go ahead and circle them around the same direction. So you're drawing that circle around the sacrum. Next time knees are into chest, let's reverse that. Then finding center, let's grab that other knee to shoulder and second leg lengthening. See if you can reach a little farther away, and then start looking for that glute squeeze to press the thigh bone back, open up the hip. And then our deepest breaths all the way down to the pelvic floor. Maybe the heel can go just a tiny bit further away. And again, feel that tractioning the thigh bone out and pulling the pelvis away from the ribs on that side. So whole side of the body is lengthening. Big inhale, let's exhale, drag that heel in. Let's take the knees both wide again. And then if we reach inside the knees, see where your hands land. It'll be somewhere on your shin or your ankle, just depends. And then go ahead and hook your grip onto your leg, and then just let your hips relax completely. Getting some opening for the inner thighs, and a couple more of your deepest belly breaths right here. Go ahead and drop both legs out if that feels okay. Squeeze both glutes. So we're squeezing the glutes to press the hip creases open, and then go ahead and relax and soften there. Okay, we're gonna do that slide in, float to tabletop. The other leg is pressed super flat to the floor, and that's part of what's keeping our pelvis neutral. And then come back down and go out. So again, let's be sure this side is staying long as we come in. And now go ahead and really pull into it a bit, like really pull that knee hard. Feel your hip flexors contract, but again, without letting it nudge your pelvis out of position. So we're just trying to go to our extreme end range of what the hip can do without moving the pelvis in any dimension. And it's gonna feel noticeably hip flexory. Again, play with angle. So maybe you can feel contraction without feeling pinchy. So let's take it out long and squeeze both glutes and really yawn those hip flexors open. Heels are reaching so far away, beautiful. Relax the glutes, feel yourself settle into neutral, and then let's get the drag going on the other side. So again, that side of the waist is gonna stay long. Start with the easy version first. So we're just getting it up to tabletop, feeling that that side of the pelvis is definitely staying far, from the ribs. And once you're sure of that, now we can start to pull into it with a little more effort, and back out again. And find the angle where we can really contract that hip flexor, but it doesn't have to feel pinched or uncomfortable. And slide it out and give those glutes a really good squeeze for a second. And then relax the glutes and let's slide both feet in and have both feet flat. Good. Now we're shifting into a simple pelvic tilt. Let's hold that pelvic tilt for 3 counts and then just relax for 1 count. So we're gonna zip up through the low belly, Flatten the low back and really press it into the mat for 3, 2, 1. And then in that 1 count of releasing to neutral, huge breath in. So we have exhale for 3, emptying out, 2, 1, relax, and flatten, 3, 2. Yeah, so this 3 count thing and relax gives us time to really feel all of the lumbar vertebrae deepening into the mat, really deep impression. 1 more like that, pressing flat, 3, 2, deeper and deeper, 1. Relax. Now in our neutral position, we're gonna float our first leg to the easy version of tabletop, right? So now we know very clearly what it feels like to be pulling hard. We're not doing that. We're doing the square, easy float. And we're gonna just float it with us as we do that pelvic tilt. Press the low back flat, 3, 2, 1. Release to neutral and right back in, 3, 2. Yeah, so you can feel that leg and hip, they're relaxed and they're along for the ride of the tilt. Yeah, rather than creating pelvic tilt by yanking the knee in super close. Perfection. Go ahead and set that foot down, switch legs, easy float on this side. Maybe you have a little bit of that turnout. Big inhale, exhale, press 3, 2, 1, lengthen out, good, and press 3, 2, 1. And I like how everyone is just floating to neutral. That leg isn't getting too far away on the release. 2, 1, neutral. One more time for this side, flattening, 3, 2, 1, neutral. Now both legs are up in tabletop and it's the same idea. Legs are just along for the ride as we press the low back into the mat. 2, 1, control motion to neutral and zip up. Press 3, 2, 1. Gorgeous. Now either keep working with this or if your spine is totally healthy, 3, we got the low back pressed into the floor. 2, legs can start to reach. 1, working into our rollover. Get a little sip of air at the top. So we've got our exhale to control rolling back down. Yes. So each time we start with that pelvic tilt, so we've got the back flat, that's going to limit how hard we can kick through the legs. So we're not using a ton of momentum, just a little momentum of the reach of the legs. Yeah, we never want to throw ourselves into this position. Now, if the unfolding of the legs is taking you all the way over and you want to give it a go, when you roll down, let's just bring the legs to vertical. Be sure to start with that pelvic tilt and see about working your way through with even less momentum from the legs, right? It's more like we get our pelvic tilt and then the weight of the legs is what helps take us over. Yeah, good. So whatever version you're working with, I love all these variations. Let's go one more time. Awesome. And whenever you're done with that last one, let's give both knees a nice wide, wide, wide hug. Feel the low back extra smushed into the mat in that passive way. And then let's let both legs just flop all the way out to Shavasana. Totally letting go of those hip flexors, maybe waggle the toes in and out a few times. Gorgeous. Wonderful.